So, long story short, we're setting up a podcast. I guess you could call it a system. And what I decided to do was get a new laptop. So for the laptop, I went for the Asus TUF A15. This comes with a 3050 Ti graphic card and an AMD processor, 512 gigabytes of storage. And just to match the laptop, since I do this with my Alienwares, I got the TUF Gaming Optical Mouse M3, which was $20. This laptop was $1,099. And I also happened to get this Audio Technica microphone. All of this stuff obviously came from Microcenter. This is the ATR 2100X. So just about everything I do is going to be related to this equipment. I should also say that I got a Podmaster boom, which is going to be used obviously for the microphone. And basically this is just really a short review for this laptop. And it's also a review to some extent for the mouse itself. So if you're looking to buy into PC gaming right now, laptops might be your only choice. Or you're going to end up with a pre-built system because, as you know, video game graphic cards are almost impossible to get now because of these goddamn cryptocurrency miners. So because of that, yeah, you're not really going to have much of a choice. So there were other options. There was the Hewlett-Packard model laptop that came with a 3060, and there was also a Dell that came with a 3070. But I decided to go with this one because for what I intend on doing, this was reasonably decent enough, inexpensive enough, and also because of the fact this is a Nvidia 3050 Ti, and the 3050 just came out. This has a little bit of longevity on it. We'll say that this laptop should be decent enough to weather the next 3 to 5 years. But I don't intend on using this for gaming. In fact, the next gaming laptop I intend on buying will probably have either a 3080 in it or it will have a 4000 series video card. So this is the Asus TUF. I took a look at it in the store. It has a decent build quality, nothing that you haven't seen or nothing too radical compared to what we know of when it comes to a gaming laptop. Basically, all gaming laptops, they try to give you a nice matte finish, or they try to give you something that resists finger prints. So this is the laptop itself. Has a easy open right there. Now let's see about as far as connections go. We've got 2 super speed USB ports. We got one USB-C, one HDMI, one Ethernet, one microphone, which probably doubles as a headset jack. And then you have one more super speed on this side. Again, this has a 512 gigabyte SSD. So I guess the things we're going to be interested in is how well does it sound when turned to max volume. And let's see, on the back, I don't see anything on the back. So that means that it plugs in to power right here on the side. So everything goes on that side. So this is the computer. It's relatively lightweight. It's actually very nice that you can get a gaming computer that's not very heavy. I'm still using an Alienware that's actually a bit heavy. Now, what I did notice about this, especially considering this is built for gamers, is that they highlight the W, A, S, and D keys. Now, me personally, I don't know if anybody ever noticed it. I don't use W, A, S, and D. I actually keep my fingers like this so that when I want to strafe left, I use tab. When I want to back up, I use A. When I want to jump, I use S. And when I want to duck, I use crouch. And when I want to push the use button, I either use E or F. So I keep my finger just like this when I'm playing on a laptop. And then I also always am going to have a mouse. So with my mouse, I usually do my walking and shooting. Like I use the right click to walk, and I use the left click to shoot. And then I use the middle button in order to zoom in, zoom out. So this has an AMD processor. Now, to tell you the God's honest truth, I usually shy away from AMD anything, but I ended up getting this Ryzen 7. So I did it specifically because of the price. Right now, AMD is less expensive than Intel. And again, I'm only really interested in using this laptop for podcasting for the most part. So this has an 8-core. I find it amazing that they find it so necessary to remind you it has 8 cores, as if anybody really knows what the fuck that means. Bottom line is, they do say it has 144 hertz, or that's the frequency of the display. So hopefully that'll look good. And other than that, it's pretty nice build quality. Like, I've got nothing against it. I would have preferred it if I could have gotten an Intel Core i5 or Intel Core i7. But again, Intel right now is kind of expensive. And on top of that, if you want to get a better video card instead of 3050 Ti, like if you want to get a 3060 or a 3070, yeah, you're going to pay a little bit more for that. But for all of the things that I plan on doing with this at $1,099, just fine. And, yeah, so I can rock with it. This is the Asus M3 mouse. Basically, I'm comparing it ultimately to my Alienware 510M. So I'll be interested in seeing about how it compares as far as its comfort, height, and whatnot. But the beautiful thing about these gaming mice is they usually have a lot of extra buttons, and they also have lots of DPI quick switches. So as you can see, there's a page up, page down. Then they also usually have DPI quick switches, and that's so that you can increase and decrease the DPI on the fly. No. All right, so basically, let me just plug that in. Right there. So yeah, you got a nice little system right there. We got a nice little system with a matching mouse. Okay, let's throw this on. Okay. Oh, we got an RGB keyboard. No RGB on the mouse, or at least maybe not, because it looks like this should be RGB right here. But we'll see what happens in a minute. See if that lights up. A little RGB. I really preferred the way Alienware did their RGB, because I love the way that on my computer, my Alienware, it lights up the sides of the computer. I really prefer that much, much more. So it comes with a little instruction manual. Yeah. So, okay, so we're going to be setting up Windows. Once we get the Windows set up, it says Asus in search of incredible. To tell you the truth, I never really liked Asus. I really never did. I always felt that it was just, you know, it was like a cheap Chinese-made product. It didn't have the quality control that Hewlett-Packard, Dell, or Alienware did. But once again, it's only for the purposes that I'm using it for. It's not, you know, it's nothing really major and serious and everything. So it should last. It should last. But obviously, anytime I do a review, I always do a long-term review. So if I have any problems out of it, obviously I'll update this. So as you can see, yes, there is RGB in the, there is RGB right there in the, what is it called? In the mouse's body. So let's just take a little picture right there. Okay, so we're going to set up English. Yeah, this mouse isn't as high as my Alienware, so it looks like it's designed for smaller hands. Yeah, so whatever. So we're going to just set up Windows 10. Because this is an SSD, setup is very, very quick.
Hi there, I'm Cortana.
Yeah, I'm sure you are.
A little sign in here, a touch of Wi-Fi there, and we'll
now, as far as performance with various games and everything, I may do an update where I talk about how it performs in various games.
Select the little microphone icon towards the
Either that or I'll just add in performance specs.
Assistive screen reader. Press the Windows, Control, and Enter keys at the same time to turn on narrator. Okay, enough intro. Let's dig in.
Now, how are these speakers? I do intend on listening to the music, how well it plays music, to see how good the speakers sound when it's turned up.
Your keyboard is set to...
Yeah.
Do you also type with another keyboard layout?
No. Well, I usually use a Chinese keyboard for Pinyin, but I'm not going to add that in.
Now let's get you connected to a network.
Okay, let's connect to the network.
That way you can get updates, apps, and cat videos as soon as possible.
Cat videos.
How about the first one on the list?
Cat video. What do you think I am, a lonely woman who's at home alone? Okay, so I hooked into the Wi-Fi.
Now Now we have some important setup to do.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
Now let's see what's new from Windows. Next up,
And by the way, if you are the type of person who travels and whatnot, a gaming laptop is a must. You definitely want to have a gaming laptop. Okay, so I got to work on the email.
Just type your phone number and press send.
Yeah, you see, this is how they get you to make sure that they get all of your info up front while you're setting it up.
Hey, look, that's me, Cortana. Can I have permission to use the info I need to do my best work?
I guess so. Oh, I could have said yes.
The manufacturer would like your contact info to send you updates.
Would you?
Such. Stuff for you, and Windows will be all yours. Looking forward to helping out.
I'm sure you are. Yeah, hi. Yeah, I was typing on this keyboard. Again, not only is this mouse designed for smaller hands, but this keyboard is designed for smaller hands. I find it slightly more comfortable to type on my Alienware, but my Alienware is definitely a larger computer. My Alienware is actually more of a desktop replacement. This computer is definitely half the weight of my Alienware. It's also a lot smaller with 15-inch screen, even though my Alienware has a 15-inch screen too. In fact, all of the new generation of laptops is a lot smaller, a lot thinner, and a lot lighter. So again, when I do upgrade, I'm going to probably end up getting a 3080 or a 4000 series gaming laptop. But as I was saying, if you're the type of person who travels a lot, a gaming laptop is a must-have. It's basically what they used to call a desktop replacement, where you have enough power and you have enough expandability to be able to run games or to run programs or to run officeware. And you can do that wherever you go, worldwide, wherever you go, you know. So definitely something worth considering. So they give you this TUF background. TUF, yeah. I have to say, okay, and then they want you to download the GeForce driver as soon as you get started. So I think what I'll do is I'll test some music on it and see how well that works out. But yeah, the first thing they usually want to do is they want to do the GeForce driver to get your updated drivers and everything. And since I intend on using this with a digital camera for podcasting, and I also intend on using it obviously with this mic, we're going to want to do that. Oh, shit, I got to log into Nvidia. I forgot all my Nvidia login stuff. Okay, so once I put that in, now I can go to my GeForce stuff, and they already have updated drivers here. So they have the GeForce 471.11. Release date was 6/22. So, yeah, naturally, you're going to want to update that. And because I have FiOS, the internet is going to move very, very quickly. I get very good internet here. Better than at the office, I'll tell you. The office has shitty internet. Or at least it's not, you know, it's not up to my home FiOS standards. My home FiOS is awesome. And I can't wait to get this mic working. That's going to be fun. So this Audio-Technica mic, I'm going to definitely do its own review for the Audio-Technica mic. But there's probably a bunch of people did reviews on it already, but I'm going to just, you know, do one to add in or whatever. So, yeah, I mean, this is a light, small laptop. It's not very heavy. I have to say, a lot of kids, because of the fact that there was no school in school and a lot of kids got computers and laptops, at one point, most stores ran out of computers and laptops because so many people were coming to buy it for their kids. And you also had so many people getting this stuff for work at home. But the thing about it is the 3050 Ti is a pretty decent video card. However, it performs kind of like the 2070 or it's not as good as the 2080 was. But once again, the only reason why I didn't mind getting something this cheap was because I'm only going to use it for this podcasting thing, which, you know, I do on YouTube. So I plan on using this for YouTube, StreamYard, and Facebook multi-streaming. So I'm going to use StreamYard to automatically stream to Facebook and to stream to YouTube simultaneously. And that's all this computer is for, nothing else. But it's a very nice little system. It has some decent looks to it. The designers obviously cared. So it's, it's not bad, not bad. I don't think that it has face recognition, but okay, let's do that. Express installation. Nvidia, yes, please. Okay, so while that's doing that, I think, the first thing you pretty much have to do is you got to download Google Chrome. It says sign in to sync data, favorite passwords. Nah, I'll do all that later. But they want you to sign into this. But the thing I want to do is I want to go to YouTube and I want to test the sound quality of these speakers. So I'm going to turn the speakers 100%. So far, it doesn't sound very loud at all. But I'm going to run a YouTube music. So let me think. What's a good song that's not copyright? Because the problem is too much freaking copyright infringement. And the thing about it is, I don't want to get a copyright thing. Okay, so you know what I'll do? I'll use the Colony Wars soundtrack. I usually use that anyway because it's not what is it called? It doesn't have any copyrights on it. So when you play that music, you don't have to worry about freaking YouTube blocking your damn. All right, so let's see how loud this thing is. Yeah, I can tell right now it's at 100% sound. This is not very loud. Now, here's the thing. The computer itself is not very big and the body of it isn't very deep. So my guess is when you buy something like this, they expect you to plug in your headphones, your headset mic to it, and they expect that to be where you get your sound from. So the speakers are okay, but they're not very loud. This is 100%, mind you. Just to give you the comparison, since I talk so much about how much I prefer my Alienware, what is this, R4, and I also prefer my keyboard on this Alienware. I don't know, I guess maybe it's just the way it's designed. But anyway, let's see how the speakers are on my Alienware compared to what they are here. So let's just get a listen. 100%, this is 100% volume, right? So that's 100% volume, right? Okay, so there you go. Now let's try this one. And let's try this at 100% volume. This one is just a little bit louder. So I would say, yeah, the audio from the speakers here is passable. This one is only a little bit louder, and I guess that's because this computer probably has larger drivers. And it also might be the positioning of the drivers. And this one also has a little bit more bass. But you know what? It probably isn't fair to compare an older model computer to a newer model computer, because as you can see, despite the fact these are both 15-inch computers, the simple fact is the Alienware is built like a battleship. Most newer computers aren't as large as this one is. But it's like, it's fine. This is passable. But my guess is they really intended for you to use your gaming headphones on this computer. So what I'll probably do now is I'll play a game on this computer, and then I'll take that video and use that. See, here's the thing. This is a 3050 Ti. You're not running Cyberpunk properly on this computer. But what most people play, let's talk about the most popular games like Counter-Strike, or Counter-Strike Go, I should say. Or possibly, yeah, I think I'll test Counter-Strike Go on this and see how that works out, because that should be pretty good. I have a Steam account, so I can just as easily download games on this. Took me just a few seconds to install my Steam account on this computer. I'm downloading Counter-Strike Go. I'm going to just use that to test out the system. Of course, I also have access to Cyberpunk. Thing about it is I'm not going to try to even bother using Cyberpunk on here. What I'll do is I'll just post the specs of how it does run on a 3050 Ti on a laptop with this AMD 8 core. But the important thing to understand about this computer as far as expandability goes, it comes with 2 memory slots. There are 2 8GB RAM chips in there, 8 plus 8, 16. However, you can change both of those out in order to do 16 plus 16 and get a total of 32. The maximum you can support on this computer is 32 gigabytes, which is fair enough. Laptops tend to not have to go beyond 32 gigabytes unless you're getting like an Alienware M51 or some other desktop replacement like that Asus might happen to make. But in general, most people who are gaming on a laptop, you're not going to need 32 gigabytes of RAM. 16 is more than enough. There is 2 slots for SSDs. They're using PCI 3.0 SSDs. These are M.2 SSD. So basically, it comes with one 512 gigabyte SSD, which this day and age is kind of small. My recommendation to you is if you can afford it or if you already have one, swap that to a 1 terabyte or a 2 terabyte. And I would say if you can get a 2 terabyte or a 4 terabyte, you'll probably never need to upgrade this laptop ever again. And you'll probably be able to use this as a desktop replacement for all of your needs. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you a little bit of Counter-Strike being played on it. We'll just take a look at the frame rate because this is supposedly a 144 hertz screen. But I have to say Counter-Strike Go is extraordinarily popular, as is PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, as is Mortal Kombat 11. The thing about it is Mortal Kombat 11 is a console game which can just as easily run on an Xbox or a PlayStation 4, while Cyberpunk is a more demanding game for a computer, and in order to get it with maximum settings in psycho mode, you're going to definitely want to have a 3080, or you're going to want to have a 3080 Ti or 3090 like I have. But Counter-Strike, very popular game. A lot of people play it. A lot of people love it. So it should run just fine on this computer, just as it does on this one right here. And what I was saying about RGB, when I go places, like I go to other countries and I'm sitting in the airport or whatever it is, I prefer the LED layout here. It's very, very subtle. The LED lights that they did, I really like this. That's one of the reasons why I never rushed to replace this computer, despite the fact that the battery is pretty much dead. This computer is about 4 years old. The battery is pretty much dead. I travel with this one because as a decent desktop replacement, this computer is fabulous. I really like it. It really looks good. It still has great looks. It's held up very well. A lot of people talk a lot of smack about Alienware products. The bottom line is they're upset because Alienware products are so expensive. But I have to say, they build these things tough. This computer is almost 5 years old. The goddamn thing's built like a rock. I love it. Love it. Absolutely love it. And I travel with it, never had a problem with it, not a single problem with it. Anything I want to upgrade, I can just upgrade it. This computer supports up to 32 gigabytes of RAM, but the newer Alienwares will go up to like 64 gigabytes of RAM. My only thing is, if I want to upgrade from the 1080 GPU here, I'd probably upgrade to a 3080 or a 4000 series. So this computer is almost finished with its loading, so I'm going to shut this one down. But this computer right here is almost finished loading up. What is it called? Counter-Strike. And what we'll do is we'll take a look at the gameplay in Counter-Strike right here and see how well it works. I love being able to play games on an SSD. It loads everything faster. Things are more reliable. So the game knows me from my Steam account, so it automatically loaded up everything the way I'd normally have it. Let's take a look at Hostage Rescue. I'm really not going to play the game because, you know, I'm holding the camera in one hand. I just want to show you what it looks like to be able to play a game. So it's really simple. If you want to understand how this 3050 Ti will work with whatever game it is that you like playing, the easiest thing I can do is just post a couple of screenshots of performance at the end of this video. But for the most part, a 3050 Ti is a little bit better than the 2060 of the last generation, especially considering this is a mobile processor. Let's take a look. The terrorist team is full. Let's take a look. Okay. And as far as I know, graphics settings should be up as high as they can be. So what is this? Video, advanced video. We want to make advanced video. We want to make everything as high as possible. So we got auto high, texture streaming. I don't know if I need that. I think most things wait for vertical. See, the thing about it is a lot of times these games, they automatically set themselves up. I just wish they had like one button where you just click that and say, yeah, I want everything to be max. Most of these games pretty much, they pretty much set themselves up for you. No, I don't want to stop playing. Let's go back. Okay, now one thing I gotta say is the brightness of this monitor is actually a little bit brighter than my Alienware. So that's actually a good thing. Let me see. How do I turn this up? I think you just push F8. Either that, you got to push function. Okay, yeah, it's function F8. Yeah, this is a little bit brighter, and the screen actually is a bit smoother. So far, so good. Looks very nice. All right, here, you're looking for this guy. I'm going to shoot this guy. This seems like there's a little connection issue, but I know that's not my internet. That's probably the ping of the server. All right, so far looks good. But again, it's like this. If you want to be a gamer or you want to be a YouTuber and you don't feel like waiting for a video card to come to Microcenter, you're probably going to end up getting a laptop or some kind of pre-built. But this is not a bad system at all. It actually is a very nice looking system. It's it's a very attractive design. So they want me to use WASD. I'm gonna end up getting killed because I can't use both my hands. But for the most part, it's a good looking computer. Yep, there it goes. But this, I have to say, the 144 hertz refresh rate definitely looks smooth, because my Alienware is so old that I don't believe it had 144. I believe it was under 120. And in fact, I could be wrong. I think it was actually a 60 hertz. So this is definitely a lot smoother. And the faster your frame rate for your monitor, usually the easier it is to shoot people when they pop up really, really quickly, because you're able to lead them a little bit better. And another thing I should also mention, my Alienware is very, very hot. And one of the things I can see right here, just putting my hand right here, I can feel the heat in the back. And it's funny because I was playing a game one time and somebody was sitting behind me. In fact, this is so hot, you can't even touch this. This is so hot. And somebody told me, they were like, oh my goodness, the heat coming from your laptop is so high. These things get hot, and these things get hot enough to where it's like having a space heater. So yeah, this does get a bit warm. It gets a bit hot. And naturally, as these things get hotter, they start to thermal throttle eventually. But I have to say, this is a very good laptop, and it does what it needs to do, and that's all you're asking for. Very difficult to really judge a laptop GPU, because the problem is laptop GPUs aren't the same as desktop GPUs. You're never going to get the exact number of frames per second that you expect if there are variations with your hard drive, your SSD drive, your CPU. But what I can say is that just taking a look at these charts right here, they were running Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and they're basically saying that the 3050 Ti has marginal abilities to outperform the RTX 2060, which is basically what I always look for. I always expect the new generation to outperform the old generation. That's just a given. So obviously the 3050 Ti performs a little bit better than the 3050, and fortunately it performs definitely better than the 2060. In my opinion, all of the GPUs of the new generation should outperform all the GPUs of the old generation, but that's all in how you name them. So basically you get the exact same thing here with these charts about Shadow of the Tomb Raider. And there's also a lot of comparisons that have been done on YouTube where you can look them up. Bottom line is this. This computer is a perfect performer at 1080p, 144 frames per second. If you're the type of person who's looking for 4K visuals, you're best to look somewhere else. There are a lot of comparisons that you can look at where they put the 3050 Ti up against the RTX 2060. And for the most part, the RTX 2060 is definitely, for the most part, running neck and neck. Now, you could argue that the AMD 8-core processor might give you a little bit more power, but what I can say, and I'll say this flat out, if you're looking for something that performs a little bit better than the 2060, brand new technology, more state-of-the-art, a little bit more energy efficient, thanks to the newer processes being used to build it, you're probably better off going for a 3050 Ti laptop rather than bothering to go backwards and get a 2060. Now, if you can get a decent deal on a 2070 or a 2080, yeah, you should probably grab those instead, because either one of those CPUs will outperform this 3050, even if they are less efficient.